All right, guys, so we are going to take a look at assigning those Google assignments and then taking a look at what it looks like on the student end on a Chromebook, laptop, iPad, etc. So you can help the kiddos kind of navigate through that piece. Just a few little helpful hints, tips, and tricks for utilizing Google inside of Schoology and then helping your kids navigate that as well. All right, so we all know that, the materials section is where we need to go when we start this process. I'm going to build outside of a folder just because it's a little easier for me right now. This is just my sandbox, so I don't have any of the foldering structures y'all do. This is just totally a place for me to play and have some fun with the assignments. So the only type of material you can add that gives a copy to every single student is this add assignment. There's been some misunderstanding that a page will do that. It will not. A page is one way you can give them a view only, but it never makes a copy for them. So we steer clear of everything. Yes, Miss Joan.
Are you hearing your doorbell?
Oh, sorry. I have the chime on when people come in. Let me turn that off.
Oh, that's okay. I just want to make sure they could get in.
Yes, I have the waiting room off, so that's not what y'all would do, but that way people can just kind of come in once it starts. All right, so add assignment is where you're going to go if you want to make a copy for every kid, okay? So I'm going to start there. And I'm going to show you just kind of the building blocks here. We will put our title of the assignment up here, and then you want to put some directions. And if you want to help the most right at the top, I would say click on the My Document. Oops, I can't type this morning. It's already too early. The My Document link at the top to access your copy. This is what the kids are not doing. They come to this assignment page, and I'm going to show you in a minute, and they're reading all your directions that say, go into the Google slide, open the Google slide. Well, they're skipping that fundamental step of click on My Document first. That's the only place they can go to get the copy of their document. So if you start all of your assignments with that statement at the very, very top, bold it, highlight it, whatever you need to do to make sure that kids are reading that piece, then that's what you need to do. Oops, I did a highlight here. Let me do it red. Okay. All right. So I did a highlight. My bad. Okay. So anyway, make sure that's at the top, and then you can start putting your directions here at the bottom. Now, ultimately, you guys learned in that follow-up course that you can put these beautiful previews in here, right? By using that little insert content. I recommend that you don't do that here on assignments because, again, it confuses the kiddos. It's great. It's perfect to have a beautiful preview, but what they're doing is they're clicking on that preview and then requesting access because they're thinking that's their copy, and it's not. So while it's nice to have that feature until we really get our kids trained to go to the My Documents, we're going to take that preview option away so that we're not confusing anybody at this point. So we are just going to type directions here. We're not going to put any links to anything. The only way that we're going to attach a copy is using the Google Drive assignment button here on the bottom. So this is where we're going to go to click on Google Drive assignments. It's going to give us access to our Google Drive. Okay, it has to be in My Drive. So I know the ISTs have done a beautiful job at providing y'all with 2 to 3 weeks worth of curriculum. You can't just go there and grab their stuff. You have to have it in your drive before you give it to the kiddos. So make sure it lives there. Okay. All right, I am just going to I'm going to go ahead and put this one here, and I'm going to attach it. So if you've done it correctly, it'll say that this has created a copy for every student. Okay. Same process now. We're going to set a due date, the time, the point. Now that we have grades, whoop, whoop, we can now put in a category. And then, of course, all the rest of this, if you want it published at that moment or unpublished, whatever you want, there's that there. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and click create.
Anna.
Yes, ma'am.
If we, on that graded, ungraded, if we put ungraded, does that mean that we'll not be able to go back in and put grades later, or
You
what is that?
can. You just have to physically go into every assignment and change it from ungraded to a category that you can grade.
So even if we're not having Schoology grade it for us, we need to put graded. Like
Uh,
if it's an open-ended and I want to go in and read it, I still put graded because
if
then I
you
can go in.
eventually, yeah, if you eventually want it to go to grade book, it needs to be a graded assignment.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a good question. All right, so now it's beautiful, and when I click on my assignment as a teacher, this is what I'm going to see. I'm going to see this assignment tab with a link to my assignment, which is great. Now, the kids do not see in progress or submission. They're going to see my document. And so remember, in these big bold words, click on my document at the top. I want them to click on a my document. I'm going to show you their screen in just a minute. For us as a teacher, we would go into the in progress. And what we should be seeing is this message that, oh, it doesn't look like anybody's opened it yet. That's a good message. That just means that, okay, when the class starts and they start accessing it, they'll see it here, or we'll start seeing their documents here. Okay, and then of course submissions is where kids who have submitted it, it will go to this folder for us. Okay. All right, so now I am going to bring over my student side so that you can see what a student looks like. Okay, so I am no longer logged in as me, I'm logged in as my daughter. We're gonna look directly at her account, and this is really the only truly way you can look at a Google Drive assignment for a kiddo. In yours, it doesn't really work the way that you wanna see it. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this. All right, so I'm gonna jump into my class. And we're not going to worry about this unauthorized 401 error. I'm just going to not worry about it right now. And I'm going to click on title of assignment. I'm not going to go into any folders. Remember, this was mine. Okay, so this is what the kids see. It says click on the My Document link at the top. So they see just this, but what was happening is you guys were putting that preview in here. So the kids were seeing this beautiful preview and they were clicking on it and request for access, request for access, request for access. All right. Yes, Miss Joan.
I just wanted to say really quick, I really like this because like with my kids in Applied, when they're in progress, you can click on it and see what they're doing. And like I had a kid yesterday that wasn't able to get going on a question, so I was able to type his sentence stem for him.
Yep.
So it's a really cool place to go in before they hit submit or before they finish, you know,
Yep.
to help them get on the right track.
It is, and I'm going to show you that once I have Maddie's assignment all created. I'm going to show you guys where you can go and start leaving feedback. So that's a really great idea. So you see how y'all had assignment, you had in progress and submissions. The kids only have two options. That's why we really need to train them to go to My Document. And then this is what happens when the kids come over here, is they see either something like this or they see error or access denied. So there's a couple of troubleshooting tips and tricks that you can do with them. One of the first ones I would tell you is if you guys look right here, it says can't see your document, click here. Tell them to do that. First and foremost, just click right there, because what that will do is if there's any connection problem with their Google and their Schoology, it will give them this screen. And it's going to show them who they're connected as. Do you see this? In Schoology, I'm connected as madison@students.nisd.net. Here's what's happening at middle school specifically. They're using their TikTok Gmail. They're using their Twitch Gmail. That's unicorn smiley face @gmail.com. We can't have that. They've got to see this email here, okay? And then once they get here, if they click log in, it's going to pop this little window open and it's going to say, are you Madison@students.nisd.net? Yes, I am. Next. And then I am going to type in my 4x4. It's going to ask them, are you sure you want to allow Schoology to do this? Yes. Okay, so even if they're not seeing the connect down here, if they're seeing an error, anything like that, I always recommend start right there. Tell them just click on that link and let's see what happens. And that should pop them into a process to log in, and they can literally check what email they're logging in with. Now Maddie has her own copy of this document. Okay. All right. So let me pop in. I want to show you from the iPad what this looks like really quickly. So let me mirror this, because there is a little bit of difference between the iPad and the laptop. So I'm going to mirror. Oops, okay. Oh, here we go. Now I'm going to bring this over. All right. So I am now inside my Schoology app, and I'm on Maddie's dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into her class, and I'm going to open that assignment. Okay, they see the same thing the other kids do. They see assignment and they see my document. Do you notice that little link over here is not here yet? You don't get that click here until you go to my document. All right, now here's what the iPad users see. I don't see it. I can't do anything with it. Yes, you can. Okay, so we make sure that they've done that click here first. If they're getting this slide application in their iPad, tell them to tap it, to open it. So I'm gonna tap on it, and look what it tells me to do. Open in the app. Okay, so on an iPad, it doesn't show them in Schoology any type of preview, period, exclamation point. They have to open it in its associated app. So what does that mean? They have to have the Google apps installed on their iPad, which if it's a student device, it will have all of those apps. If they're using an Android phone, a personal iPhone, a personal iPad, they have to make sure all those apps have been installed and they're signed into each one of those apps. So take a look at when I open up my Google Slides app, because remember, it's going to shoot me out here. I'm going to click on that little profile picture. Look who I'm signed in as. I'm signed in as me, mom. So when Maddie tries to open, it's going to say request access all day long. Okay, so that's the second layer with these iPads that we're seeing a problem with, is they do not have their account added. They have to add their account to all of the different Google products on the iPad. And that's what the kiddos are missing. So if I click add account, click continue, I can go through that whole process of typing in her email address, etc. Okay, and it has to be, yeah, go ahead.
You said added on every Google product, so Google Doc, Google Sheets, Google Slides, the whole kit and caboodle.
They need to go in and check every single app and make sure they're signed in on it. Usually when you sign into one, it'll sign you into all the other ones on that device, but we are, you know, at this point, we don't, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It's 2020. That's
it's 2020, right? I love it. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let me finish that sign-in process real quick. I'm going to just move that over just so I can put her ID in here. I wanted to show you all that process on here because it's so important that they're skipping some of these steps, and when you guys don't have all of these different methods to see it. Okay, so now when I click on my profile pic, I am signed in as @students.nisd.net. Okay, so not unicorn 151 emoji face. I need your student one on there. Okay. All right, so now when I go into Schoology and it says, do you want to open this in the app? I tap open, and because I'm signed in as Maddie, I now can get in here and I can type on this Google slide. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns so far? Anything you want to see again before I kind of move on and show you all feedback? Nope. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to get rid of that because I don't really need the iPad anymore. Perfect. Okay. So yes, if Maddie comes in here, she can work in here and she can, you know, add her information if she wants. Okay, she can work down here in this. It's kind of a small picture. So if the kids really do want to pop this out into their Google Slides and get the full picture, that's where this edit button comes in handy. That will pop them open into slides. So I'm going to click on edit, and you see it opens a brand new tab. So they'll have to know that they've got to go between tabs now. if they want to get back to Schoology. But it'll take them into the bigger screen. They can work on it. They can do whatever they need. And then I'm not gonna submit this, just so that you can see what happens. Technically, what your kids would do is X this screen when they're done and submit their assignment, but they don't do that, right? They forget that step, which is very typical. It's a learning curve right now. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of her account and I'm gonna go back into my account and just kind of refresh the screen so that you can get a real-time working version of this. All right, so I know that I do have a kiddo in progress. Debbie hasn't opened it. All these other people haven't opened it, but I know Maddie has, so I'm gonna come over here. Now, if you see, you notice that, guys, I did not go into, I'm gonna show you this because this is another hiccup. I love that Schoology gave us this option to view course as, and you can go in as a kiddo, but it really doesn't work for anything but folder structure. If you want to see what the folders look like, if you've published your folders correctly, that's what that would be good for. It's not good for Google assignments. You can't see what the kids see, okay? So wipe that from your mind. It really doesn't function the way that everybody thinks it functions. So we're seeing that as a major issue. If you want to see what the kids are seeing, you just open the assignment dashboard and go to in progress. And this, if I click on Maddie's name, this is what I'm going to see. This is what the kiddos should be seeing. If you see access denied, first and foremost, what that is a kid tried to access this folder, this item as unicorn151 emoji face at gmail.com, and they got denied access, okay? It's nothing you did. You didn't do anything wrong. They need to go back in, make sure they're signed in right, and then try to access, and it'll remedy the problem, okay? If you see some other funky little errors in here, like some text that say error, blah, 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 like this coding stuff, what more than likely happens is your Schoology now is no longer talking to your Google Drive. So what is your fix? It's the same fix that the kids make. Click right here. What that's going to do is it's going to reconnect your Drive and Schoology back together so that now you can start to see all of that fun stuff, okay? When all else fails, sign out, sign back in. Make sure that whole sign-in process has been done. I mean, it's kind of like, have you tried restarting yet? That funny video that Saturday Night Live, I think it was, that kind of does tend to help. But I do see that right here, if your Gmail has lost connection, you're going to get these funky errors in here. Okay? Any other questions on that piece? Because I know that's a tremendous concern for teachers. Good. Okay. All right, so the next question is, all right, Anna, I want to leave some feedback for my kiddos, but until it comes over here at submissions, I don't really have a lot of options for leaving her any feedback. Well, this is what Miss Joan was saying for her applied kids. Just like Maddie can work in here, I own this file too. It's a shared doc between me and my student only. Collab teachers, FYI, that's the other problem that y'all are seeing. Whoever owns the file has rights to the file. So, well, that's a whole other can of worms that we need to talk about. So if I want to go in and I want to leave some feedback or see what Maddie has done, I can open the document so that I can see it bigger, right? And I can go in here at any time and I can leave some feedback using the little comment feature. The kids do have to open it back up to view it and see it, but I do like using this little comment feature here. This looks great. Be sure to hit submit. Okay, so I can leave comments on the slide and kind of give this running feedback piece for my students inside of their document and then remind them during that 15 minutes, guys, I've put comments on all of your slides. If you have them if you're still working on them, I've already gone in, go check it out. I've given you some great feedback. They can open it and they'll see it. Yes, Miss Joan.
What I was talking about, and I don't know if it was a fluke or not, but like I had a kid who was trying to answer a question You can work on the document while they work on the document.
Yes, it's not a fluke. I'm going to jump in on Maddie's side over here so you can.
Because he's like, I don't understand how to question it or how to do it. And it was, do you think it changed or it didn't change? So I was able to get on his, I typed it in on his paper for him. I said, I think it, I said, do you think it changed or it didn't change? And he said it did change. So I said, I think it changed because I was able to type that in and then he was able to finish it, which is really cool to do it while they're working instead of after it's done.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the benefit. So you'll see up here at the top, Madison is in this document with me right now. If they're actively in the document, you'll see them up here and they'll have their circle will be blue. That means she's in it and I'm in it at the same time, and we can actually be communicating in this document. So if she decides to go to the comments and open it up, she can say, thank you. And or type just like you were doing. See how she can be typing in there at the same time? Okay, so that's a really neat feature. If you're doing some small groups, you could be jumping in and out of their documents and kind of working with them if they're in it at the same time. Okay, you'll notice here I have no way really to hit submit for these kiddos. The kiddos really have to go in and they have to go back and submit their assignment.
Where is the submit button? I don't think mine are submitting. I'm just going in and grabbing it.
They're not, Miss Joan. That's what I'm saying, because they're not seeing submit. It is. It's true, right? Okay, so
where is it?
I'm going to go back into the kids view. Now I'm in my kids view. See, I'm in Maddie's account.
Yeah.
Do you see this? Submit.
Wiggle your mouse.
Right here. See? Do you see submit right here?
Oh, okay.
Yep. Submit.
No, I don't. Oh, submit assignment.
Does
that mean they can't work on it anymore?
It means that, yes, correct. They either have to unsubmit it if they want access back to it or not. Once they hit submit, it changes them to view only. But they can unsubmit at any time.
They can do it, or I have to do it?
They do it. You can do it too. I'll show you. So I'm going to go ahead and submit so you can see the difference. It tells them you've successfully submitted. Yay! Finally, we get one submitted. But do you see here the kiddo has the option to unsubmit right here on the right-hand side? They can unsubmit, okay. All right? So now let me go back to teacher view so you can see what that looks like. Really, this is the only way I can show you both views, is I have to have a kid up and I have to have mine up, because you don't see the same things. It's really crazy. All right, notice in my in progress, Maddie's missing now because she went to submissions. That's how I know she submitted. All right. And now that she's in submit and it's a graded assignment, I can add the grade and I can give them the comment. This was well done. Good job, blah, 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 whatever you want to put. And if you want to share the comment in Gradebook with the student, you can do that, and then you can click Save. Okay? I'm not going to do this because this is my sandbox course, so I don't want to mess anything up with Gradebook, but that's what you would do, and it would post that grade for the kiddo. It will not post a grade if you've made this ungraded. You would never see this option if you've made it an ungraded assignment, okay? So just FYI, it has to be graded. So do y'all see that when it's in progress, I don't have an option to give a grade over here. So my only option would, I believe, is to go back to the gradebook, which we don't really want to have to do. We really want to try and teach the kids to submit, right?
Can we do a grade on a discussion question? Is there an option to do that or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can call it graded and then you can grade it right there.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You can. Yep. You just need to make sure that now that grades are available that you give it a formative or summative category. Gotcha. And there will be an option to grade now on pretty much any assignment.
Excuse me, Anna?
Yes.
Do they know if something's ungraded?
The kiddos?
Yes.
Okay. Let me bring up Maddie's assignment. Okay, so the kiddos have a couple of ways to look at their grades. Do you see they see a grades option over here on the side? That's where they can go and take a look at the grades in your classroom that has been graded or not graded. That's really the only surefire way of them seeing what has or has not been graded. Here's another fun trick, guys. I don't know if y'all have seen this yet. I'm going to get out of Maddie's. Well, no, I'll do it for Maddie's. they have this little, what somebody called the other day, a typewriter. It's actually a calendar. And this is like so cool, especially for parents and kids. I went in and helped Maddie set her calendar up. And right now she's viewing everything for all of her classes on her calendar, what's due on each day, okay? But here in this little drop-down box, I had her color code her classes like the rainbow. First period is red, second period is orange, third period is yellow. So when she comes to her calendar view, she can see her punch list of due date items by period, by color. And she can actually just kind of work straight down this and access any of her assignments right here from the calendar. So it's a great way. She does go to the 15-minute classes. So technically she doesn't have to turn anything in that day, even though I tell her, make sure you've turned in all your work, right? But this is a great way for her to, at the end of the week, go back and check, did I hit all the assignments that were due this week in a one-stop shop? So that calendar is a really neat feature. And it may be something great for like the avid teachers to hit with the kids in middle school, or if y'all have an advisory program with the kids, this may be a great option of doing with the kiddos in advisory or avid.